With that being said, what is your marketing approach and your plan? Do you have one, or we'll go back into practicing?
Mhm.
What was that? How did that look for you?
You know, I wish I could remember the name of this book, but Judy Goodell, I think, wrote the book, and it's has to do with relational coordination. It's exactly what you're talking about.
Hmm.
There's kind of two lines of thought, right? There's networking of getting out there on a golf course and building up the relationships. But then what do you do with those relationships, And Judy Goodell wrote this wonderful treatise about relational coordination and how it lifted up one of the airline industries. And relational coordination is essentially, you got to have timely communication, you have to have respect, you have a common language, common goals, and one or two other elements that you need to satisfy when you're building these relationships in your community, whether it's a community-based organization like a YMCA or, smoking cessation or women's rights or whatever, to the churches, to other referral sources like PCPs, family practice. You have to coordinate those relationships. That's the single biggest thing that's going to get you out there. Other than you can market the heck out of your practice and spend, 16, I think it's the average now that a chiro is spending in the United States. You can look this up in chiro economics. I think they say it's 16,000 per year on
Wow.
marketing. We never, ever did anything near that. It was the relational coordination, that marketing part, that's buy an ad, put in a paper, do this, do that. I really don't think, for me personally, that might get you, 3 to 4% people that act on it. It's just not enough. I think you're going to get more from word of mouth. You're going to get more from relational coordination. So that's what I did, and that's what I still do as far as going forward.
I love that. And like I told you in the beginning, or as I said, I really believe in that. I mean, I know myself, and I don't know how you do things, but you sound like a pretty personable guy all of the time. You're pretty engaging. I wouldn't go and say, "Oh, that ad looks great. That's who I'm going to have to take care of my health." That's not what I would do. So, I would ask you. I'd say, Tom, who do you know that you feel does a good job? And my relationship with you would be looking for who you trust and a relationship that you have. So the best way to bridge that gap is always what we're looking for.
Yeah, well said.
Did you ever use Yellow Page ads?
Does anybody know what yellow pages are
Remember
anymore?
they were a thing?
I did the obligatory stuff. I had yellow pages. I had, your name, obviously you're naming a phone book.
Sure.
What else? The church flyer, all that stuff.
Sure.
Um, just to keep your top of consciousness, going. But
Right.
to me, yeah, it always came down to the highest referrers are the ones you build relationships with. You're nailing it, Vinny. Absolutely nailing it.
Yeah. So yeah, and
Mhm.
that's great advice to be giving people right now. So I'm so happy you're touching on that, because to be doing that and doing it on purpose, I think is just, it's an art form that's almost lost. And I remember back in the day, Yellow Page ads were kind of like the social media of the time. I mean, this is
Right.
what we did, put it out there and hope that it would come back. And, or even a flyer or even a billboard or whatever it was, and people would say, yeah, it produced a little, but most of the time it's just a way to spark your name. And then they would ask somebody about you, and that relationship would still be what brought them in the door. That's a great,
Right on.
really good point.